Hi, and welcome to the BookishStitcher podcast. My name is Jeanette. You can find me on Ravelry, Instagram, and Goodreads as BookishStitcher, all one word. I hope you've had a wonderful week since I last podcasted. It has been so busy here, and we've been doing so many different things that it would take forever to tell you. So I'm just going to get straight to the wonderfulness because I have a lot of stuff around me to show you, and a lot of packages came in this week for the Russian orphanage stuff that we're knitting along for. So I want to have time to show all that to you guys. So first up, finished objects. I finished, and this is so funny to me, I finished my mom's socks. And these are out of some Gale's art in the sock blank, and this was the January 2016 one. And the funny thing is that this first sock, I don't know that this is the first one. I think this is the first one. Maybe this is the first one. Anyways, whichever one of these is the first one, took me almost 2 weeks to knit. The second one, 3 days. I was just like, I'm getting these done, and I did it. So that's what they look like. They both kind of match up top, but that's when they start to kind of get different. You can see they're way too long for the sock blocker because I have sock blockers for size 7 feet, the small ones, and my mom is a size 11, so there's a lot of extra. And they fit her perfectly, and these will be going to live with her now that I'm done showing you. And they're nice, comfy house socks. She likes her socks pretty roomy, so I knew as soon as I started knitting these and tried them on that they were roomy and they would be perfect for her. And they're all in different shades of blues. So I'll be entering these in some different cals for blues. And there are pops of purple from the writing that was on the sock blank. But I really enjoyed doing these, and I think I'm going to try to do more patterned socks this year. These were the Hermione's everyday socks. I forgot to tell you that, and they're finished. And I just realized I keep forgetting to bring this in from the car. The hats for the homeless people that I've been knitting for the little little packages with stuff to give to people when I see them when I'm out. I knew one of those. I keep forgetting to bring them in and show them to you because they're in the car for, you know, when I'm out and if I see someone. So there have been hats for those out of scraps, and I don't have it to show you. I don't know if I'll remember, but there's a hat. Imagine it has a green brim in hunter green, and then it has red and blue stripes because I was just using up random scraps. And then let's see. So that was my only finished object that I have that's not in the car. Now onto my works in progress. I believe this is the Three Little Monkeys Stitch and Spin, I'm not sure, but it's a project bag. It's a Doctor Who one. I have my husband's socks, and these are out of some Twisted Limone in the Northern Sky colorway. And I am basically done with the first one. I just have a couple more rows. And these are, my husband wears about the same size shoe as my mom. He's a men's 10, so it's about the same. I think I can get the other one done this week. The colors on these are gorgeous. And actually, this is a funny story because my husband had wanted sandwiches yesterday from this particular place. I have a veggie sandwich because we're vegetarian. And we had gone over there to get the sandwiches, and we're in line, you know, and I'm knitting because we just did a drive-through. We're in line and I'm knitting, and this guy opens the window and he's talking to us and he sees that I'm knitting, and he was just amazed by it. He kept asking me questions like, what are you making? Do you charge for that? And then my husband was wearing a hand knit hat that I had made him. He was wearing the turn a square hat. And my husband was like, yeah, she made me this hat. And the guy was like, that is dope. So I thought of like naming the title of this episode, Hand Knits Are Dope. He was just so impressed by it. I wish if I had had an extra, I should have given him one of the hats for the homeless people I had, but I would have loved to have just given him a hand knit hat because he was so into it. And I did tell him, I was like, there are videos on YouTube, you can learn how to knit. But yeah, so he thought the sock was awesome. It was very funny. I don't know if you guys get this, but When I am out knitting around places, if it's a person who knits or does crafts like that, they will come up and they're very positive about it. If I'm out knitting and it's a woman who doesn't knit or do things, I will often get like glares, and sometimes people will be like, oh, I don't have enough time to do that. But if it's a guy, he will come up and he's very interested in it and the whole mechanics of how it works and what are the needles doing and how does the color change and all this different stuff. I've never had a guy be like, oh, I don't have time for that. I've always had the guys who are very interested in it, so I thought it was really cool. So that's the husband's sock. That sock also went on the case of Jeanette's traveling sock. It went to a sandwich place, and it went to a bowling alley because my son had a birthday party for one of his classmates. So I brought this in my bag and I knit on the sock at a bowling alley. I tried to take a picture of the sock at a bowling alley, but I didn't want to get other people's kids in the picture, and it was strobe lights and craziness, and the picture didn't, my photo taking skills are not good enough to have a picture in the bowling alley turn out well. Anyways, so the next thing, let's start with this, or do this next. This is socks for the Russian orphanage I'm doing, and this is in my only real Valentine's Day bag, I guess. It's not even, I don't know, it's pink, but it's the sad whale bag because nobody loves him, but I love you, sad whale. But he just looks sad, or he's disgruntled. He's a disgruntled whale. But this is a Pitaloot bag. This is one of the very first project bags that I got years ago. These bags, years ago, you could not get. They would sell out in seconds. So when I got this, I felt very proud of myself. It's funny the trends you see in things, the things that were super hard to get, and now there are other things that are hard to get. But in here, and I forgot the label for this yarn, but this is some Spun Fiber Co. Actually, I have a label from another. It's like that. Spun Fiber Co. And you'll be seeing that again later in enabling. But this is from the club that I'm in. And this is, I believe, Fall Leaves. And it's a very nice, plump, squishy, 100% wool worsted weight yarn. And I just started a little kid's sock. I'm going to try to get a whole bunch of these knit up in the next couple weeks. I did about a 4-inch cuff. I want it to be longer, and I'm just going to do a traditional heel flap and gusset. So I'm not really using a pattern for that. I put on my project page Children in Common pattern, but I'm just using that as a guideline because I've knit so many socks that I kind of know what I'm doing. But yeah, sad whale. The sad whale makes me smile because I feel for him. I feel for you, Mr. Sad Whale. And then the next thing I'm going to show you is my SusannaIC winter mystery shawl cal. So if you're doing that and you don't want to have spoilers, I haven't been really posting any pictures of it on social media because I don't want to do spoilers there. I posted a tiny one, but it wouldn't have been a spoiler because it was just a picture of me getting ready to bead. It wasn't of the lace really. But this has now graduated to my Bags by Awesome Granny Russian winter bag because it was in my a Pana Corgi bag and it got too big for that. So here, and I am knitting this out of some, right now I'm using my Knitting in Color, and it was a gradient that had different, well, like a color block. I don't know if I wouldn't call it a gradient, but I'm doing the color block and I've moved into the third color. And it's definitely gotten too big for these cables, so I need to switch it on to the next because I'm in danger of it all falling off. But move that out of the way. This, I have done clue number 3. I showed you a tiny bit of clue number 3 last week, and I completed it just barely on Friday, I think it was done. And then I've started clue number 4, and I'm 6 rows into it, I think. It's so gonna fall off the needles. Just don't do it on camera. But yeah, so it starts with a light green and then it moves into this darker green and then a blue. And I don't know if you can tell, but it is shimmery yarn. And really, the way it is all bunched up right now, it wouldn't really spoil the pattern for anyone anyways because you can't really tell the detail. but I am kind of doing a choose your own adventure for the beads. I'm not doing lots of beads, but I had planned on doing just a fewer option of beads, but then I did a little bit too many, so it's just a random smattering of beads. But it's in where it's supposed to be. It just, sometimes I did a lot. Sometimes I did the bead placement for the fewer, and sometimes I did it for the more. And this little ball left. So I think that this will last through the rest of through the most of clue 4, and then I'll probably have to go into the last one of this set for clue 5. That's this one. And it's very pretty. It's almost, if you can tell. I love that. They're so beautiful. Knitting Color does a really good job with her colors. And then after that, I'm going to be moving into some Knit Picks Stroll Glimmer, which you can't really see, but it's a very pale icicle blue. And the rows on this are getting quite long. I'm doing the medium size, so it's with some repeats added, so it takes a while per row. I'm just having some ice water. And then the last thing I started is a new cast on. And this is the Because I Love You shawl. And I was gifted this by my sweet friend, Amelia. And I believe I just know the designer's Instagram name. It's Inked Indigo or Indigo Inked. I don't know her real life name, I'm sorry, but it's the Because I Love You wrap. So you can go check it out. I am loving this pattern. First off, I have to say about this bag. Yes, this is my Ida Claire bag. If you've been watching the podcast for a while, you will know that I think this is the perfect bag for 2-color shawls because, see, I got this, see that part right there? Let me show you what. So I unsnap it, and then take the shawl out. But, so these 2 cakes of yarn are sitting right there. And you can snap it up or have it open if you want, but they can the bag doesn't fully close, so the 2 colors can come out of there, and you don't have to take all the skeins out of the zipper. You don't have to have them stacked on top of each other and tangling. They can sit right next to each other, and you can pull them out, and it's perfect. I am, as a bag lover, I believe that every bag that I own has a distinct purpose and place that I love to use it in, and this is my 2-color shawl bag. And so I am doing the Because I Love You wrap out of skein of yarn from Undead Yarn. And this is her Dino colorway, and it is in the baby alpaca, silk, and cashmere base. It's fingering weight. And then the other color that I am using is some hedgehog fibers. It's in the sock yarn, and this is the birthday cake colorway. And she even has pockets in this bag, so I just tuck them back in there. There's one pocket that has like where you could keep your needles, and she's on Etsy. And we, a long time ago, had a giveaway for one of her bags. She's very sweet and very generous, and I love this bag. So to show you my shawl, I need a new needle for my thing, because this needle, it has too much memory, so it's always going crazy. But so this is where I started, over here. I need to sew in my ends. That's where I started, all the way over here. And this pattern is so cleverly done. I kind of am holding it upside down, so let me fix that really fast, but it's like that. There we go. I will get it right eventually. So, ta-da! This is what I have so far, which is a pretty good start. This pattern is so clever. I am absolutely loving it. It's become addictive because, see that top part? It looks like an I-cord. So, when I read that in the pattern that it had an I-cord edge, I was like, oh, an I-cord edge. But then I started knitting. I was like, why does she have you do that there? And I was like, oh, that's why. It's so clever how she does that. And I absolutely love it. It's so clever. The whole thing is very clever. And then it also is very neat because, as I talked about last week with the rows getting longer on some shawls, well, the rows get longer, but as they get longer, see here you have a certain number of pattern repeats. But as it gets longer, as you can see just by the dot or the picot edge, the number of repeats you do gets shorter. It's so clever, and it's a very good knit for that because it doesn't seem to take too long. It just goes faster and faster. It's beautiful. The undead yarn is so soft, the alpaca and the silk and cashmere. It's very luxurious. And I think they go okay together. I'm not sure. We'll have to see when I get longer. The birthday cake has this spot of bright yellow in it, which might not go with it as well, but the rest of the colors definitely go with it, and it's beautiful. I'm really enjoying this. This is the thing I've been wanting to work on, and I've been having to tell myself, work on other things. Put that up, and I think that is all of my works in progress. I know I said I was thinking about casting on a new thing every day, and I just decided not to, but I do know that I'm going to I think I'm going to cast on one new thing a week when I finish some stuff. So the next thing I'm really excited to cast on, I already have the yarn for it and everything, is a pattern that was gifted to me by Always Knit You one, and it's a beautiful cowl, and I'm so excited to cast that on this week, and then I post pictures to Instagram and show how it's knitting up. Okay, so knitting all done. Spinning, I have spinning, and I'm pretty proud of myself for this. So I talked about that I was spinning some Wren Ollie. That's what it looks like, and I got this last Christmas. My husband gave this to me for a Christmas present last Christmas. And this was in the Bloom color, and it was 126 grams of Angelina Merino and Tessa silk. And I spun it as singles. This is my very first time ever spinning singles, and I knew that you had to do less twist, which I knew was going to be hard for me because I treadle, which is how you move the pedals on the wheel. I treadle pretty quickly, and I draft pretty quickly, and so I normally get an even but fairly good amount of twist in my yarn. I like denser twisted when I do 2-plies and such. But I knew that it was going to be hard for me to have a very low twist. So I tried really hard on that, and I kind of succeeded. It's a little twisty, overspun in some spots, but it's not terrible. And then I got to yesterday. I don't know, I waited till the weekend, and I'm glad I had the podcast to show because I don't know if I would have ever folded because I was so nervous. But yesterday I was like, you have to do this because you need to show it tomorrow. And it's not quite 100% dry, but that's okay. But I fold for the first time, and I think I watched a YouTube video. I don't remember which one. It was like felting singles or something. But I put it in really hot water, and then I put it in ice cold water, and back and forth, back and forth. And then I hung it up to dry. And this is what it looks like. I can't really wind it into a skein yet because it is not dry like I was saying. But you can see that there are little bits that are twisty right there. And overall, let me see if I can find a good spot to show. This reminds me of Valentine's Day. It's like the perfect spin for Valentine's Day. It's gorgeous. So out of 100 and what was it, 26 out of 126 grams, I got 2 skeins because it wouldn't all fit on one bobbin. Sorry, I'm moving closer to you. But it wouldn't all fit on one bobbin. So this first one, of course, is the large one. And this skein has 626 yards of, see, it's still wet, so it's hard to kind of, but see if I can find a good, so what I calculated is with that many yards for that many grams. It's a light fingering in a lot of places. And this is going, and then like I was saying, so this is the one big skein, and then the other one I don't have down here to show you next week. I'll bring it next time, but it's a brown because it's kind of a gradient, and I had 110 yards on that, so it's a much smaller skein, and it's too wet to show, but that's what it looks like. I am so happy with this. It's beautiful, and it's sparkly. Can you see that? And yeah, first time fulling, semi-success, I don't know, but yeah. And this is going to be a shawl. I don't know, I was showing it to my husband and he was so impressed. It was very cute. And he said, what shawl are you going to make? I said, I don't know yet, but it's still very wet. And since this spin is done, I will be spinning next for the spin along. My friend Erin, she and I are doing the swap of that. So that's spinning. And I need to do that into pencil roving because I like to do that with my fiber to kind of ensure that it all spins evenly, because I'm not as awesome yet as I would like to be at drafting. And then let's see. So let's do group news next. So we have the shawl cal going on right now, and Darlene from Bags by Awesome Granny is providing the bag for our kit and for the prize, for the grand prize, and I'm providing the yarn. And so I had texted her a picture of the yarn to tell her, you know, this is the yarn that I have for it, and she texted me back this. Let me see if I can. Do you see? It's sheep's, and they're knitting little swatches and scarves in greens and oranges, and she said, would this be good? And I said, I love it. So that's going to be, so it's going to be a bag set from her in that print, which I will show. She said it should be done around next week, so sometime soon I'll have it to show you, and then I'll show you the yarn with it, and that's going to be the big prize for the FO thread. And then for the chatter thread, there's going to be another prize of a kit for the Magic Cake ruffle shawl. I'm going to gift you the pattern, whoever wins, and then the yarn for it, and then a bag by another friend of mine that I'll show you later. So thank you, Darlene, so much for offering to do a bag. It was really sweet of you, and I love the fabric you picked out. And now to, oh, okay, so the read-along that's going on right now in the group, the short story read-along for the year. I am never, ever, I tell you, going to live this down in my house. So last week I said Silver Blaze was by Sherlock Holmes. Thank you to everyone who wrote and corrected me. It was very sweet of you. I got lots and lots and lots of messages. I haven't replied back to all of them yet. I don't know how long that's going to take me, but I'm never going to live it down because my husband, as I was saying last week, loves Sherlock Holmes, loves Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and I'm never going to live that down. I did know when I was saying it that Sherlock Holmes was the character and not the author, but I don't even know why I said that. Don't even know. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I'm wearing my escargot hat today, which I love this hat. I always forget about it, but I like the gray and the green together. So now on to the Russian orphanage stuff that has come in this week. So I got in, let's do just 3 packages, and I'll show them in random order. I don't remember what order they came in, but this first one I'm going to show you is from Lucy Knits 06, and she sent in, this is so adorable. I love these colors. Little pom-pom, little hat, and then this color is gorgeous. I love blues. Look at that, it's stunning. I believe this looks like a barley hat. And then this kind of looks like a woolly wormhead hat. And again, I love these colors. Little ear flaps. And so thank you so much, Lucy Knits 6. That was very awesome to get that. And then the next one is a huge, I don't know how I'm going to show this. Okay. It came in a giant bag, and I kind of want to show you the envelope because that would show you the address. But this is from bamszoo. And so she had some scarves and hat and, oh, there's a card in here I didn't even see. Oops. I just thought it was so much, she got so many things in there. And then another hat. This is a gorgeous hat. I really like that pattern. And then another scarf. The bag is falling off the table or off my lap. Another scarf. And then two more scarves. Another scarf. And then, ooh, that's pretty. I love those colors. Looks crocheted maybe. So I haven't read that card yet. I need to do that as soon as I finish podcasting. So I'm going to get a big box and put all this stuff in. And then the next thing is from Danelle. And she included, I did get the card on this cute little bee card. I'm actually reading a book right now that has a lot of stuff about bees, and it's called The Sixth Extinction. It's interesting. But she wrote a very sweet note. And in it, she made a bag for me. And as Gabby Gales knows, because she gave me a bag when we were at Rhinebeck, I cry when people send me stuff because it's just so that somebody would take the time to make me something, it's so sweet. And thank you so much, Danelle. This is amazingly well made. So I love the colors on this. It's grays and yellows. And yellow, I really like the color yellow. It's very cheerful to me and it goes great with gray. And this bag, I love fabrics that have quotes all over them because it's like you can take your time and read one here and there and it's just lovely. So it says like adventure, life is wonderful, beautiful, happy attitude always brings laughter, cherish, bliss, all kinds of things. I haven't even read them all and it's so well made. And inside there's a nice cream fabric. It has a little toggle. And then she has a tag here. It says 3 strands fiberworks. I don't know if my camera will show that. It's not gonna focus. I don't have a special focusing camera. But thank you so much, Danelle. This is gorgeous and I am definitely going to use it. It was very sweet of you to do that. And then she included some wonderful things for the orphanage. So this is adorable. I need to knit more garment things for the orphanage after I knit some socks. But this is beautiful. And lovely colors. And then, oh, so cute. This is perfect. I'm sure this will keep some child very, very warm. And then 3 hats. Bright and cheerful hat. So nice and squishy. I love these. They're just so cute. And I don't know how well you can see, but oh, it's beautiful. The kind of tonal purples. And then this one is so pretty too. So thank you so much to everyone who has donated, and if you're thinking of donating something, there's still time. If you would like to send me your address, if you would like, you can message me and I will send you my address for the things. I'm going to be mailing them out to the team that is going to Russia towards the end of February. Like, they would need to be here by the end of February. Last couple days, I don't want to be having to overnight a giant box of things. That would be way too expensive. I wouldn't be able to afford that. But so next, on to enabling. I am in the Spun Fiber Co club, and it comes once every 2 months. And so this actually came in January, but I was showing Christmas yarn, so I didn't show it then. But I love this. This is Spun Fiber Co. This is my fourth time getting yarn. So I have 2 more months. This is lovely. It's colors of white and different colors of navy and teal, aqua with specks of brown. This is gonna have to be, see the specks of brown, there you go. It's going to have to be hat or a mitten for me because I love this. And then in the mail, and this is a complete surprise, Cajun Girl Knits had talked to me about wanting to send me some minis of her yarns to sample, and it was a little while ago, and this package just came, and it was so sweet. And it was funny in the note, she was like, sorry this took so long to get to you, and I was like, don't ever apologize for that, because I think, the worst person at that. I have packages for a couple of people that are like just because presents for friends that I have been meaning to get out for tons of time, and since they're just because, they kind of go out whenever. But I completely understand that time gets away. She said time gets away from her. It does for me too. And I will forget, and I will only remember, oh, I need to mail that on Sunday when the post office is closed. But anyways, she sent me all these minis. And there's just some beautiful, this is called Tucker. This is called Hot Toddy. This one is called Powerpuff Girls. This one is called Howard's Plaid Shirt. And then we have Crawfish Boil. Clark, which this one is lovely. And we have Gyo Tigers. I think it's a sports team. And then Heavenly Rainbow. And this one, I need to contact her and get a full skein because I absolutely love this. This is Rainy Day Rainbow. Look at that. Oh, it's so beautiful. I love the idea of a rainy day rainbow. But she was so sweet, and she included a giveaway set of her minis for you guys. And it has, here's her tag, Cajun Girl Knits, and it's on Etsy. And there's some little stitch markers. And so I'm going to put up a thread for this, and one of you can win this little treat thing of minis. So look for that thread going up today. And thank you so much, Cajun Girl Knits. It was really sweet of you to send me some, and then send some for a podcast giveaway. And like I said, I need the rainy day rainbow. I'm going to have to write you. And I actually did go and look on your Etsy to see if there was any up in the shop, but there wasn't. So I need to do a special order. And then, let's see, so the only other thing that I wanted to show you on, sorry, I'm having to open up my iPad so I can show you the book because it closed off. The only other thing I want to show you in enabling, I didn't bring down my cross stitch because I don't really show that on the podcast ever, but I got an awesome bag to hold my cross stitch, and I've been doing the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery one that they have going and that you've probably seen or heard about a lot of places. But I got a bag from HKatscrafts. I believe I'm hoping I'm getting it right. If I didn't get it right, I will correct myself in the show, or I don't do show notes, who's kidding, in the Ravelry thread underneath there. But she showed this fabric, and I kept stalking her shop for it. I kind of love nautical themes, and it reminds me of tattoos. It's a whale, and then avert your eyes if images of women. Anyway, so there's the man, there's an anchor, and there's a ship, and I'm covering her up, and I love his face. He has a tattoo on it. And then there's a mermaid. Well, there you go. You can imagine, but it's like a masthead on a ship. So it's a mermaid woman who is not fully clothed. So that is everything for all the knitting stuff, and except for the book review. It's long again, but I think it's just going to be long while I'm doing the Russian orphanage stuff because I'm showing those. But so the book that I read this a little while ago, and I finished it in, I think, 2 days or something, really fast, because I had seen this movie. I was too young to watch it when it came out in the theater, but I saw it a few years later and I fell in love with it. And it was Girl Interrupted by Susanna Kaysen is the book. And I will show you. You can open it here on my iPad. Oh, it's tiny. I don't know how to make it big. Aha! I can make things bigger. That's as big as that can go. But Girl Interrupted by Susanna Kaysen. You see my backyard. But This was a book that was done in the 60s, and the 60s is a time period that I feel a really big connection to, even though I was born decades after the 60s. But even in high school, my friends used to call me like flower child and stuff like that. I don't know why. I love the music of the 60s. Simon and Garfunkel, absolutely love them. If there are any modern day bands that you know of that have a similar feel to Simon and Garfunkel, I would love to know them. But anyway, so Girl Interrupted was a movie that I saw, like I said, a couple years after it came out. And that movie just spoke to me. For some reason, I could really relate to some of the main character, I guess, that she was just going through a time in her life when she was really down and she was depressed and she didn't know where things were going, and her life just felt kind of directionless, and she was very kind of pessimistic about just things in general. And it just spoke to me at a time in my life, and at various times in my life when I've, been down and stuff like that. But I had never read the book. So I got the book at the beginning of this year. At the beginning of every year, I like to fill up my Kindle with new books to read for the year. And I got it, and I read it so fast. And I think it was because I'd seen the movie hundreds of times. I know that's not hyperbole. But I had seen the movie so much that it was like revisiting it, and I just read through the book so quickly. And I can't believe I'm going to say this, but the movie's better than the book. Have you ever had that happen? If you've ever read a book and watched a movie and you like the movie better, I would love for you to tell me in the episode thread for this week. Because the thing that I found, the various difference between the book and the movie, was that the book had more like short essays about different events or different things or how she was feeling when she was in the insane asylum. But the movie, I felt like it had much more of a plot, and it told the stories of the girls in an interconnected way that kind of chained them all together and made it into cohesive plot throughout, that you related to the characters much more in the movie than I did in the book. But the book was enjoyable. I would say probably a rent from the library instead of a buy it, or if you can get it for cheap on your Kindle. I think I got it for a fairly cheap price. But it was definitely interesting to go and read her actual writing, because she did write this book, Susanna Kaysen, and it is about her experience. And I don't know, I've just been reading a lot of stuff lately about people that are kind of going through some mental, emotional turmoil and kind of working out their own stuff in their head and just trying to figure out things. And it's just kind of where my reading place has been. The next book I'm getting ready to start is also kind of on a similar vein, but it takes place in, I believe, 1830s. Anyways, this is Girl Interrupted. If I can work the screen. Girl Interrupted by Susanna Kaysen. And that is everything I have for this week. It's another long one. Not too long, but I have to try to keep the rest of them shorter. So I hope you guys have a wonderful week and that you get to do all the things you love. Okay, bye.